A hush falls over St. Vincent St. Mary Stadium as Aaron Rodgers jogs onto the field, helmet tucked under one arm, eyes scanning a receiving corps that, on paper, looks talented. But in practice, the magic just isn't there. Not yet. Rodgers takes his spot behind center. The huddle breaks. He calls blue 42, post right, and snaps the ball. DK Metcalf rockets downfield like a freight train uncapped, hands out, eyes burning. Rodgers releases a perfect spiral. Catch, shuffle, turn upfield, touchdown. The crowd erupts. Chemistry, sealed. Next rep, Rodgers and Scotty Miller, a diminutive dynamo whizzing around DBs, carve out separation on the corner. A crisp pass, Miller corrals it at the sideline, feet in. Another connection forged, but then Rodgers lines up with Roman Wilson. He darts inside on a seam, eyes locked on the quarterback's signal. Rodgers fires and the ball drops 5 yards in front. Wilson turns, hands up, confusion etched on his face. Rodgers barks an adjustment, replaying footwork. They chalk it up to timing. Still, tension knits the air. With DK Metcalf locked in and Scotty Miller flashes, the Steelers crave a second option. Calvin Austin III, electric and burst, has been sidelined by injury. Roman Wilson, gifted but raw, is learning Rodgers' language. And the absence of George Pickens stings, a void the Cowboys now fill in Dallas. Here's the thing. Great quarterbacks don't just throw. They build rapport. They memorize route stems, cadence inflections, how a receiver lives in that slot when pushed to boundary. Rodgers isn't a stranger to that craft. He's built Super Bowl comebacks on pre-snap reads and telepathic throws. But even legends need live reps with their weapons. So far this camp, the defense has dominated. TJ Watt's grin beneath his helmet tells the story on every sack drill. Minkah Fitzpatrick and the secondary feast on miscommunications. When Rodgers checks down, the linebackers close in. When he tries the deep ball, aiming at Roman Wilson's corner route, the pass is either too lofted or too rushed. Either way, the coverage rebounds off the turf. Scotty Miller has seized his moments. Quick slants, yards after catch jukes, toe tap miracles. But he's a role player, not the every down threat Pittsburgh envisioned as a true number 2. That role needed to fall to someone like Calvin or Roman, or ideally, a veteran whose reps alongside Rodgers would yield instant rapport. Off-season whispers suggested one name, Terry McLaurin, a proven number 1 in Washington, savvy in finding soft spots, tough in traffic. General Manager Omar Khan has the cap space. The deadline for realignment is nearing. If Pittsburgh pounces on McLaurin, they'd be adding a polished chess piece, one who already reads QBs like books. But if they wait, training camp will blur into preseason and Rodgers and that timeline shrinks. 5 more reps with a shaky target aren't enough to replace in-game chemistry built over years. Defensive coordinators trace every disconnect. Single coverage on Metcalf, bracket on Miller, and a spy on Rodgers if he scrambles out of pressure. Without a third reliable option, the offense risks predictability. Imagine a Week 1 opener. Rodgers under center against a top-tier defense. He looks off the safety, then zips a seam to McLaurin or Miller if he's earned it. The ball arrives at iron speed right in the money. Crowd erupts. Rodgers exhales. Connection forged. But without that bolt of lightning, 2 receivers scurry on checkdowns and the running backs rotate carries. The defense pins its ears back. Watt and Alex Highsmith collapse the pocket. Rodgers is forced into holds or scrambling off his spot. The explosive plays evaporate. That's the chasm Pittsburgh must cross now. Chemistry can't be faked. It lives in film sessions and 10,000 reps in practice. It lives in trust, knowing that when the defense slants away, your man will ghost open. And it lives in mutual accountability. Rodgers prodding route technique, receivers studying his footwork, all of them converging toward the same mental template. Behind the headset, offensive coordinator Arthur Smith watches the clock tick. He's seen enough breakdowns to know the patterns. Receiver stumbles, quarterback scans empty zones, pressure arrives. He jots reminders. Work Wilson on stem, give Miller more rollout looks, install McLaurin package, if they can land him. Because make no mistake, Rodgers is on borrowed time in Pittsburgh. This is a franchise win-now window. The roster still has wrinkles, but the QB play remains elite, if only the supporting cast syncs up. The rest of the division isn't standing still. Cincinnati and Baltimore sharpen their weapons in the offseason. Cleveland upgraded its defense. Every division game will feel like playoff football, so the urgency grows. Every rep with Roman Wilson matters. Every one-on-one between Rodgers and Austin once he returns, must become a laboratory in precision. And every phone call that Omar Khan makes to former Pro Bowl receivers, to front offices looking to move talent, will resonate across the league. Training camp is the crucible. The first padded practice, a slip there, a miscue, and headlines will scream, Rodgers can't find his targets. But get the connection right, and the Steelers' offense transforms. You'll see Rodgers' eyes light up when Metcalf streaks down the seam, then again when Scotty Miller flicks a curl, then once more when Roman Wilson snags a back shoulder fade. Because football is a game of connections. Man to man, mind to mind, heart to heart. And right now, the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers are on a quest to bridge their divisional chasm. The tools are there. Elite QB, dynamic speedsters, a gritty running game, a blue-chip offensive line. All they need is the chemistry, the spark that ignites one more run at a playoff banner in Pittsburgh. If they solve their connection issues before week 1, they'll be a team no one wants to face. If not, opposing defenses will feast on predictable routes and checkdowns. The clock is ticking. But Rodgers isn't known for waiting. He'll keep demanding perfection, receivers will keep chasing it, and the front office will keep seeking reinforcements. Because in the NFL, timing isn't just everything. Chemistry is. And the Steelers know that without it, the season could unravel before it truly begins. Steelers offense struggling to build chemistry around Aaron Rodgers. Camp observations. Defense dominant. Through early padded practices, Pittsburgh's defense has consistently outshone the offense, pressuring Rodgers and disrupting the run game. Metcalf as sole reliable target. DK Metcalf continues to make plays in 2-on-2 drills and has been Rodgers' primary dependable option. Trouble at wide receiver number 2, Scotty Miller's rise. Miller, 5'9", 28, has impressed, winning multiple reps against Steelers DBs and flashing after limited snaps last season. Calvin Austin III and Roman Wilson. Missed connections. On one rep, Wilson broke inside on a corner route, but Rodgers' pass sailed well in front of him. Unclear if it was a timing miscue or an off-target throw. A subsequent sideline attempt to Wilson was similarly off-mark, prompting Rodgers to walk Wilson through the ideal route stem and break. Austin has missed consecutive practices with an undisclosed injury, further thinning the options behind Metcalf. Why it matters. With defenses keyed on Metcalf, Pittsburgh needs at least one more trustworthy pass catcher to capitalize on Rodgers' renowned accuracy and field vision. Without that support, the offense becomes predictable, limiting deep ball threats beyond Metcalf. Running game struggles as defenses load the box knowing secondary options are untested. Potential fixes, trade market. GM Omar Khan could explore veteran additions.